Hello, Watermark Church. Welcome to our online service today. It's New Year's Eve. We are so excited you decided to join us, and we just have a few quick announcements before we get started. The first announcement being just a reminder, if you want to give and you want it to be credited for 2023, make sure it's postmarked. Make sure you get that in as quick as possible because that date ends tomorrow. Next week, we are going back to our in-person service. We have two services, 9 o'clock and 10:45. So just remember, at the middle school, we are going back to two services in person. Tonight at 6 p.m. we have our worship night. We're gonna start with worship. Then at 7 p.m. we have our border battle, Vikings versus Packers. We're gonna glorify God first, then we're gonna enjoy the game. It's gonna be fun. Bring food to share, bring a game if you have it to play. You don't wanna miss it. That's all I have for you today. Please enjoy the service.
Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand when everything around me is shaking. I've never been more glad that I put my faith in Jesus. He's never let me down. He's faithful through generations. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. Got joy in chaos. I've got peace that makes no sense, so I won't be going under. I'm not held by my own strength, 'cause I built my life on Jesus. He's never let me down. He's faithful through every season. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. 'Cause Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand when everything around me is shaking. I've never been more glad I put my faith in Jesus, 'cause he's never let me down. He's faithful through generations. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. Oh, rain came, wind blew, but my house was built on you. I'm safe with you. I'm gonna make it through. Rain came, wind blew, but my house was built on you. Oh, I'm safe with you. I'm gonna make it through. built on you. Oh, I'm safe with you. I'm gonna make it through. Yeah, I'm gonna make it through. 'Cause I'm standing strong on you. Yeah, I'm gonna make it through. 'Cause my house was built on you. 'Cause Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand when everything around me is shaking. I've never been more glad that I put my faith in Jesus. He's never let me down. He's faithful through generations. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. He won't.
I don't want anything but you. You're more than every dream come true. All of the things I thought I wanted don't come close to knowing you. Now that I'm yours and you are mine, your love is the secret that I find. I'll spend forever in the pleasure I found looking in your eyes. Give me Jesus, give me Jesus. You can have all this world. You can have all this world. More than silver, more than gold, you are the treasure that I hold. Now that I've tasted of your goodness, nothing else will satisfy. Give me Jesus.
Happy after Merry Christmas. Almost a new year, and so glad you guys can join us today. We're in a barn. Look at this. Pretty chilly in here, but I love it. So beautiful. And you know what? We're doing this whole series, Holy, and He is the one and only. And I think it's through this whole series that we just start talking through what that really means, from everything that He is holy to Holy Night, just to that He is holy. And kind of today, I kind of want to share as we go into this after Christmas thought. And I know you're probably watching it from home and today. So I just want to say thanks for joining us. Thanks for being part of this service. And we just love it that you're with us today. I just want to jump into read some verses. I got a lot of verses I want to read today because there's this moment that here we are after, like, some of us are still celebrating. Some of us are now, some of you are thinking about taking down the decorations and moving ahead. Some of you want to, you know what I'm saying, just chill for a little bit, whatever. Some people are back to work, some people are not. It's just a lot of different things going on. And so, but no matter what, we have this after Christmas. We have this time where we're kind of through the major festivities. There's still some stuff going on, like at the hub tonight, there's some stuff going on. There's different things. But I just want to get to this. Jesus is born. I want to read Matthew, and if we can just read this together. It's found Matthew 2. It says, Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod. About the time some wise men from the eastern lands came. And I just want, as we're going to read this almost a whole chapter here in a little bit, it's a big deal, but they arrived in Jerusalem, these wise men. And you know the story, the wise men came bearing gifts, and listen, they came bring frankincense and myrrh and gold, and it's an interesting picture what that means is, and how that looks and what they were doing. But I want to read this part to you that I think is amazing. It's not by accident what's happening in this story. It's all by God's divine nature. That's part of the reason it's holy. So it goes on to say, it says in verse 2, where the newborn king of the Jews, they're asking, where is he at? We saw his star as it rose, and we have come to worship him. And then it goes on to say in verse 3, King Herod was deeply disturbed when he heard this, as was everyone in Jerusalem. He called a meeting of the leading priests and teachers of the religious law and asked, where is the Messiah supposed to be born? They called a meeting. Think about that. Jesus, they're following, wise men are trying to follow a star. They go to King Herod and they're going, what's going on? And the reason King Herod's afraid is because he's the king. He's heard of certain prophecies in the past. And I'm sure through different religious things or different kind of other religions or prophecies, there's many prophecies that have not been fulfilled. So maybe he wasn't worried, but now he's realizing that through history of the Old Testament, these prophecies of this king to come to earth is now being fulfilled. And these wise men are on a journey to see him. Listen, I want to read a few verses with you this morning that is cool because it's not just during this time. There's verses. Here's some verses for you. Jeremiah 23, 5 through 6 says, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will raise up for you David, a righteous branch, a king who will reign wisely and do what is just and right in the land. In the days of Judah will be saved, and Israel will be in safety. This is a name which by he will be called. The Lord is our righteous Savior. Zechariah 9:9 says, rejoice greatly, daughter of Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous, victorious, lowly, and riding on a donkey, on a colt, and think about this. Isaiah 9:6 says, for to us a child is born. To us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. Micah even goes on to say this way, but you, Bethlehem, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come from me one who will be a ruler over Israel, whose origins are from the old and from ancient times. And then Isaiah 7:14 goes on to say, therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. A virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will call him Emmanuel. All these verses are prophecies of the future Messiah that people have read through generations. And now King Herod, hearing of these prophecies, now seeing the wise men come, and they're now on a journey to find this king, is now sitting there nervous going, he's going to overthrow my kingdom. He's going to come and take away what I've built. And he's going to destroy what I have. Pride's seeping in. He's almost kind of scared, and he's thinking, this can't be right. But he's also realizing prophecy is being fulfilled. He wants to kill prophecy. He wants to kill the truth. And so he kind of starts setting up this plan. We can read this in verse 5. In Bethlehem in Judea, they said, for that is where the prophet wrote, and you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not least among the ruling cities of Judah. For a ruler will come to you who will be the shepherd for my people, Israel. Then Herod called the private meeting with the wise men, and he learned from them the time when the star first appeared. Then he told them, this is interesting, go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child, and when you find him, come back and tell me so that I can go and worship him too. False. We'll catch on in a second. After the interview, the wise men went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy, and they entered the house and saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. I find this amazing, because here is the king expressing to the wise men, you carefully go on your journey, and when you find the baby, report back to me right away so I can come and worship him too. But that's not what he wanted to have happen. He was scared to lose his throne. He wasn't a worshiper of the new king. He wanted to destroy the new king. His plan was to destroy prophecy, to get rid of the baby Jesus, to hunt baby Jesus out. The wise men went on their journey, and it says they got to the house, the manger, that was underneath the star. And it says they came in, and they saw Mary, and they saw baby Jesus, and they bowed down and worshiped. What's crazy up till this moment is all through Old Testament. I've said it on Sunday mornings, even through the Take Ground series. I've said in the Old Testament, when you wanted to go in God's presence, you had to go through all these sets of things, to the altars, to if you wanted to go into the Holy of Holies, only a few Levites and priests could actually enter in certain times of year. They had to have a special ceremony. They had to sacrifice certain things. Not everybody could actually go in. There was certain rituals and rules, and you had to be at a certain status, and people could be outside the temple, but not everybody can go inside the temple. You had to be this way. You had to be clean. You had to be purified. You had to be set apart. You had to be holy. Even utensils couldn't be touched doing different things. One of the reasons this was a holy night, and I shared this a few weeks before, is because this night not just changed time, it changed the salvation narrative, and it changed worship. Because at this time, the wise men approached Jesus for the first time, and we got to bow down and worship before the new king. Not totally purified, not sacrificing the animals that were right next to Jesus, not even coming clean. It was dirty pen. But kneeling down before the king. They brought a few things. They brought frankincense and myrrh. They brought some objects and they gave it before Jesus. Every one of those objects actually was a symbol of something else. If you look at the gold, actually was value. It represented value that time. It actually represented the king also. When you look at frankincense actually represented priestly duties. It actually represented like that you were the new, person stands in our place. And then the myrrh actually is what people use for death and burial, speaking for future prophecy of the death and resurrection. It's interesting how I love the fact that they brought gold, because they were actually there because of a census. Because if you think about the reason they did a census back then, the Roman government did, is because they were trying to, if they do a census, they could figure out who's paying taxes and who's not paying taxes. So they were on a move because of that. But now that King Herod's after them, they're going to be on a move again. And they need to get traveling around and go and hiding. And that gold is actually kind of valuable and can be used to help pay their way home. I think about these things that the gift itself is a miracle. And so this is why we bring gifts, to help, to show value, to do different things. And I look at our own life. This night changed everything. I want to finish reading this part of the chapter with you, and then I want to close by sharing something with you. And this is verse 12. It actually says this way: when it was time to leave, they returned to their own country, talk about the wise men, by another route. That's awesome. By another route. For God had warned them in a dream not to return to Herod. And so after the wise men were gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. He said to Joseph, "Get up, flee to Egypt with the child and his mother." Mary, angel said, "Stay there until I tell you to return, because Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." That night Joseph left for Egypt and with the child and Mary and his mother, and they stayed there until Herod's death. They fulfilled what was the Lord has spoken through the prophet, "I called my son out of Egypt." Herod was furious, the king was furious, when he had realized that the wise men had outwitted him, and he sent soldiers to kill all the boys in and around Bethlehem that were 2 years old and under, based upon the wise men's report of the first star's appearance. The wise men traveled a different route because they knew the danger of going back, because they knew King Herod was upset with them. But they also didn't want to backtrack to reveal the direction of where the baby Savior was at. My challenge to all of us again is this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Man, when you meet Jesus, it changes everything. It changes everything. Jesus came to reveal God. And in a sense, when we meet Jesus, it reveals ourselves. The wise men came bringing gifts to prepare not just for then, but for the future. And all at the same time, they met Jesus for the first time. And at that moment, worship changed. How we worship changed. How we came to Jesus changed. Everything changed. And I really do believe they became to change. They didn't listen to King Herod. They listened to a new king. Everything changed. As we move into this, as we close off this year, move into a new year, I'm encouraging you. There's change that needs to happen in all of us. We've been talking about moments, shoeless moments, moments with Jesus. I was sharing about this a little with my wife the other day, and I said it's amazing how worship changed, how we come to God changed. He came, it changed. But it's interesting, she made a good point, is that it changed even how we approach him. because he changed how he came to us. He came to us differently. He came to us as a baby. He came to us, took our place, and he came to our place. And I think it's important for us to say, listen, we need to create space in our day to spend time with him. Let's worship together. Let's seek the Lord together this year. Let's find moments with the Lord this year. And let's just bring our best gifts before the Lord, bow down and worship him. Thank you so much.